You know poetry dropping when the pen clicks, and poets get it popping with the pen click. You now rock with Kuya David, the prime poetry prime minister, out here with my brother Daniel. He's the chubby fat god. And today, we have the god of the Pomona open mic scene. So y'all better check your chest to get left, cause you gonna catch wreck. We got the best from the West, Bess Kepp. Let's get it.
Shock value lost its value when Emmett Till happened. Blackface went from tapping to rapping to acting. Like we empire for hire, somehow the masters got astray. I saw this shit coming and I'm still feeling played days. Jonesing for an upgrade like maps to ways. My ETA was yesterday, but I'm back today. Swamp in the drain. It all starts from the heart when we thought the brain. What we thought was strange is now the norm, true to form. Streets saturated with the misinformed. We lack the cheat sheets. Big walls, big Wall Streets, big shoes to kill. Big ideas, big dreams to fill. Free fall like popping pills, caught to be still excessive, over aggressive, seasons open. How am I not supposed to move when you're choking me? You're choking me. You're choking me. You're choking me. You're choking me. I wish someone record this shit so my mama can see. You ought to be ashamed. This could have happened to MJ or Rick James Brown. Paint the town, cop blue. Police brutality, a smidgen of what black and brown go through.
Hey, guys, Bess Kepp, Cory, Bess Kepp, Cofer.
What's up, y'all?
What's up? In the pen clique.
Nice to have you,
mentor, Dim Lights founder, educator,
what else?
Poet.
What else?
You got a one-man show, God.
What else?
You got kids, God.
What else?
Young, successful,
what else?
Ascending family. There you go, Bess Kepp doing it.
Blessed,
Welcome, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. For the listeners, for everybody that don't know, Bess Kepp founded a Mic and Dim Lights 17 years ago with JB. You want to give us a quick history on that real quick?
Yeah, man.
Bess
We
Kepp?
started the Mic and Dim Lights October of 2000. Basically, I was on the poetry scene. I was hitting poetry spots up, going to LA all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I could get on the list, sometimes I couldn't. And I was like, hey, man.
That's a far drive to not get on the list.
It's a
and
good
where
drive.
were you staying at that time?
Yeah.
Huh? I'm
Where
sorry?
were you staying at that time?
I was actually in Pomona. I lived in Pomona at the time.
So bouncing LA.
So Pomona to LA, and sometimes even further.
Yeah, word.
And
the
and I had to
Valley.
pay my dues. And you know what? There's times when people come to Dim Lights and they can't get on lists too. That's just how it is. But that happened to me, and I was like, you know what, man? We need something out this way, so we ain't got to drive like 30, 40 miles just to get on the mic. And basically, that's how it was born. Me and my man JB.
Yeah, JB, we see you. We appreciate you. Yeah, it's still going 17 years strong. The first Thursday of every month. Still in Pomona, California at 8 p.m. Yeah, and thank you, Bess, because I wouldn't be here without you. So, we'll get into it.
Poetry guys spitting the poetry that's created that whole scene, man. That's wild. And speaking of poetry they just spit.
Yeah, we'll get right into it. Moving on to the first part of the show, Threads and Lines.
Yes, sir.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
Threads and Lines is where we pull lines from the piece and unravel the threads of life experiences that forge those lines of poetry.
Okay.
Threads and lines. And Mr. Daniel, you got anything?
Yeah, I got something. We both got something. There's a lot to get. Best getting it.
Right.
But one part that hit me was the blackface reference. So blackface went from tapping to rapping to acting, like we empire for hire. And like that's something that we see happening now, especially in hip hop in a way, way bigger way.
Empire for hire. That was
that's wordplay as fuck.
Yeah, I try to use a little wordplay.
And that Bess Kepp cadence too, that like you hit him with it.
If you didn't have your ears open, like you
Mm-hmm.
would have missed that bit of wordplay. But on text, it reads as well. That's something about spoken word that like sometimes doesn't translate as well to page. But your piece, that like there's a lot of wordplay in that you could actually catch. Empire being that for those not in the U.S., Empire is a TV show about the black music industry.
Yes.
And so we empire for hire. So not only are they building an empire based on black work and the backs of black labor throughout American history, but also we empire for hire, like that show and the art that gets exploited and all that.
Definitely. And even the words right after that, somehow the masters got astray.
Yeah.
Because you have all these artists with all this music out, but none of them own their own masters. So basically, they don't get paid. Their music get played today on a regular basis all over the place.
And that we know better now more than ever too. Like artists know better now. People know you should be doing that. Right. And you've seen that. Like you came up through hip hop. How has that influenced your poetry and your other works?
You know what? I give hip hop 100%.
Yeah.
As far as like influencing my poetry, because those are my first writers. Whether MCs, the Rakims, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Fresh Princes, anybody back then that was inspire us to storytell or kick lyrics or write. I always tell people like hip hop and spoken word are like they're always engaged.
Yeah, word.
You know what I'm saying? They're always together. So basically you take the beats off of dope rhymes, you have dope poems.
And what are we seeing in that piece, in those lines? Are we seeing like frustration? Are we seeing just like an acceptance? Are we like, what is?
It depends on the poem.
What's your opinions right now, Bess? Let's get into. Let's get into what's up with hip hop right now.
I want like along that line. That's something that really got pointed out to me. Shock Wave is the name of the poem, right? So
Shock Value.
Shock Value. Okay, excuse me.
No problem.
So Shock Value, and it seems like. And when you said at the very beginning, like Emmett Till,
word.
Shots, and throughout, like lots of wild stuff happens throughout Black American history.
Yes,
like you kind of get desensitized. To
definitely.
And like this, by the end of it, it's like the shit's not even surprising anymore.
Word up.
And that Emmett Till is like jarring.
Yeah.
Like when you start that poem with that, and if you don't know, go educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? But you immediately get all that imagery of like what comes with that word, and then it's almost like that is the.
So going off of what
the
he was
big hit of the poem, like the big like oh shit,
yes.
and then like word.
Going off of what you were saying, like was there like, but because to me the way I interpreted it was that by the end of the piece, it's a bit hopeless.
Well, my thing was
a smidge of what Black and brown folks go through.
Yes. What encouraged me to write that poem was Donald Trump getting elected president.
Okay.
So it was an anger that came from that,
Wall Street,
But at the same time, Donald Trump was doing this here, doing this there, and everyone was shocked. And my thing is if you see Emmett Till, even before you look up the story, look up his picture. Because his mom wanted to open casket so people can see what happened. When you see his face, and what these 5 white men did to his face, that's shock value enough. So there's nothing else surprise you after that.
Yeah, word.
So if Trump can do anything, it don't surprise me. Shock value lost its value when Emmett Till happened.
Hey, yeah, word. Getting it, Bess Kepp. And then always like hip hop in that, and it's important to talk about that because that's not something that's talked about all the time. How you will lose hip hop if you don't protect it. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing that happen now. How you feel about that? How you feel about what's going on, Beth?
I feel a little different. I think
that
like
Post Malone.
I just feel like hip hop is just broadened, and
have
so many different. Types of hip hop, man. So it's almost like you can just go and take your pick of what you like. Some people like trap music. Some people like that underground, that stuff. Some people like what we're talking about earlier before the show. What you talking about? What's that?
Trap and drill.
Drill, man. I mean, you schooled me on that.
Yeah, it's dope that like we now have that variety.
Yes, yeah.
And there's almost like an indictment in the piece at one point when it's like y'all ought to be ashamed. This probably happened to MJ or Rick James.
Yeah.
And again, like going back to that history, you see the oppression of black people and then the brilliance that comes from that, right? That pressure creates diamonds. And then they take the diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Time and time and time.
Yo, hold
and
up.
Time
that
again.
was a bar right there. Pressure creates diamonds and then the people take the diamonds.
That was a
bar.
We out here.
That was a bar.
We always right.
Did we record? Yeah, we recorded. All right.
But yeah, we're seeing that again time and time. But now this time, you know what I'm saying? We have a generation that's willing to stand up and be like, no, not this time. Y'all should be doing something about this.
Right.
And like, it's nice because it is that empowering indictment. It is like, you all know better.
Yeah.
Like y'all ought to be ashamed.
Yeah,
word. Powerful, Bess Kepp.
And right at the end of that, one more time, is like when you said James, when you said ended with James, and then next line, Brown,
the
town.
That wordplay, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what, too? I think sometimes in spoken word, people they forget about the wordplay. Everyone wants to tell their story or their story, but the beauty of poetry is poetry license, being able to write any way you want to. You use wordplay. Play with those words, dude. We're wordsmiths. They play with those words. When I work with my group of kids, I have a poetry club at Telus right now, Telus Academy, 7th and 8th graders. And they always ask me, Mr. Cofer, can we curse? Can I use this curse word? I was like, you know
like,
what?
fuck yeah.
You know, it's freedom of, I like it's freedom of speech. But if you're good with words, man, you can't think of another word to replace that word. You know,
Facts, yeah.
Get creative with it. You know, what word can you use that's just as vulgar as
That's
fuck?
what I'm saying.
You know,
Yeah,
what word
saying.
can you use? You know, use your whatever. You know, so I would like to see a lot of these young spoken word poets. Who come out here, we have a lot of youth programs going on. Big up to Say Word.
Yeah,
I would like to see a lot of these young kids just use more wordplay and use more style and understand the different types of poetry.
And more
opposed to
device.
opposed to just
Shock
freestyle.
value
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit, you know?
definitely, yeah.
And again, like with swear words, with what we see a lot in the scene right now, it's they do emote, like they do invoke an emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I use motherfucker a
I
lot in
got
my work.
tongue loaf about, but
Yeah.
But
You
you
know-
say these things, right, motherfucker, and like you have these poems, and it's like emotion hit, and this and that, and this and that, and like it's not. It ultimately stops being a poem at a certain point.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, man, there may be a point in your poem where
It needs it.
Like, the only word that fits in that spot
Yeah.
is fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's the only word that fits in
Yeah.
that spot. You
You-
gotta
you
go
need
with
that-
it.
you need that hot sauce in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Word,
Sometimes
bless.
you need that to get your point across. So
for sure.
Hey, out here schooling you. He's got from the God Bess Kepp.
Oh yeah.
Getting that
Bess
poetry
Kepp.
lesson right now. Pen Click workshopping right
Yeah,
now. We
facts.
out here. Moving on off of Threads and Lines and on to the next part of the show.
2-piece combo.
Hey. For the listeners, for the gods, for Kuya, for Bess Kepp, for everybody, the 2-piece combo is where we bring a little bit of poetry video in. This week it is this episode.
Yamazawa.
Raise Up.
Yes, sir.
The video we're watching is from the Kennedy Center, so if you want to go peep it, it's actually a really good recording and all that. So, yeah, we're going to watch it. We're going to give it a little breakdown and then a number at the end.
All right, let's do this.
Out here in Bess Kepp's little man cave right now.
In high school, I was a hand grenade sitting in a palm-shaped desk ready to blow up in the face of any teacher who thought I wasn't worth holding on to.
Hey, let's go.
Knowing that I was bright, I never let any earthly authority stare at me for too long.
Hey, that's real, like that struggle, like, because Bess, you were an educator for a long time.
Yes.
How long you been teaching?
This is actually my 20th year teaching.
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
Not
Yes.
to tell your age, but
Yeah.
yeah, there is that problem with students that we see is like, because I went through it, like when they know they're smart, you know what I'm saying, and they look at the teacher and they're like, nah, fuck you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They don't want to participate or they're not engaged.
Yeah. And they know they're smart. You know what I'm saying? They feel empowered in some way.
Yes.
But the only way that they know how to use that is, like he says, to just blow up, just waiting to.
I was expelled during my junior year and sent to an alternative school,
Hey.
shaped like a trench, where students were treated like dismantled machine guns. They searched us every morning.
Treated like dismantled machine
Yeah.
guns. Yo, that's raw.
Like, shouts out to the continuation school struggle. I was one of the only ones in my social peer group that didn't graduate from continuation school. But to be able to summarize the feeling that you get from that experience, like he does it, like, right? That's what we're doing out here.
The thing I get from this though is almost like he didn't like the continuation school. Or it
Yeah,
didn't work
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
Whereas I know a lot of young kids, the continuation school is kind of like their last straw. But sometimes it's very small, it's intimate, it's more personal, there's more engagement between the teacher and the student.
Smaller
and
classrooms.
they usually kind of shoot through it, and it's kind of because not every kid can handle a 2,000 person high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
word.
500 people is cool.
But there is that sense of like
All right, let's just go.
like turning your nose at kids that went to
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
Like, you graduated from where?
Yeah,
that's not a
true.
real high
Yeah,
school.
it has that stigma to it.
Yeah, word.
Made us take off our shoes, pat us down from head to toe, but the metal detectors don't beep when students sneak hope into the seams of their clothes. There's an average of about 8 kids in every classroom, with everything to learn and nothing to lose but their pride. See, one morning, a classmate was laughing about how his own mother is a crackhead. His voice was careless and unforgiving, but his eyes told me that even addicts can become saints. And at that moment, my conscience began writing this poem, and now my hand is finally starting to remember it for the 16-year-old veterans. I'm sure your hearts are purple, not bruised but brave. The color of royalty rests in the cave of your ribcage, where teachers can only imagine the kind of stories you engrave inside the walls of your chest. It's no wonder why they always try to get under your skin. See if only
And like so much of that that poetry is therapy, like just snuck in there, and just like your education will heal you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learning to express these things.
Yeah. This whole 16-year-old veterans, Purple Hearts, not bruised, but
word. And like again, like that poetry therapy just in there, like it just works. You can just tell. Like
it's amazing how, like you pointed out earlier, how it like a lot of modern slam is a lot of just griping.
Yeah,
but then how it gripes, but it's along with the narrative and healing.
Word.
And it sounds
word.
beautiful too.
Yeah.
I mean, the aesthetic part of it too. Like you said, the words he said, the
It's a
metaphors he
beautiful
used.
voice.
Yes, definitely. So,
And he's certainly not doing what we were describing, because his imagery is strong. Like his wordplay is like, it's not the focus of the poem. This isn't like that wordplay poem, but it's still structuring and holding up the concept.
Hearts could learn to love, maybe they would pump less like a shotgun and more like a piston, and give them the drive to
Again,
be
that
more
imagery,
than a statistic.
just,
Because no matter how hard we try to point kids towards better test scores, they'll still be aiming at each other without the right weapons. And we need our students in the classrooms. You see, in high school, I learned to explode into the things that I love. I learned that you can't learn wisdom. They cannot teach you virtue. I learned that graduation is not my parents' responsibility, and that a cap and gown.
And like engaging in that, like, oh my gosh. And this makes me wonder a lot, like, when did G start writing?
Right.
Like, when is this what got you out?
Interesting
Did you
question.
find this in continuation school? Because that's often what you see, right? Like, for the first time, these kids go to continuation school and learning clicks for them, and then they find poetry, or then they find whatever.
What inspired him to first pick up the pen?
Yeah. And like you said, my conscious wrote this then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's now that
His hand remembers it.
Yeah, word.
I like the part where you said, my graduation is not my parents' responsibility.
Word, right?
I mean, he's taking ownership for that, so
Yeah.
that's one thing we need to get our kids to do.
Yeah, word.
Take ownership of their education.
It's an attitude you wear for the rest of your life. See, at the end of my graduation ceremony, I walked around frantically for like 30 minutes searching for my parents, who were lost in a maze of classmates who crossed the finish line without hearing gunshots. By the time we united, families had already taken their graduation pictures and were dispersing towards further celebration. But my parents didn't care about no graduation photo. The hug that my mother gave me meant more than a certificate, more than 10 steps across the stage, more than my GPA or what college I was going to. Her hug was a thank you for working towards something bigger than myself. It was a reminder of the moment I decided to not let my dreams slip away. Her hug was like a stamp on a passport that showed me where I just came from and allowed me to go wherever my heart decides. She held me tight like a hand grenade, and it reminded me of the moment I decided to pull my pen out and show the world the brightness of my flame.
Hey, and he flips the imagery of the hand grenade at the end. Like, it goes from being this symbolism for this pent up frustration and anger and like that feeling. Y'all know, like 16-year-old boy, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to be in the thralls of puberty and have to have somebody tell you what to do. And that's what we get with the hand grenade at first. And then it becomes like this wonderful metaphor and like his mom gripping.
And also when he said, I'm a
fire guy.
Pull the pin out, and like as in like his pen.
I'm gonna pull the pin out.
Yeah, man. So
it.
what'd you think of the poem?
I loved it.
Fire, right?
I loved it, and I love this. I mean, I'm a fan of storytelling. And the fact that he was storytelling.
My favorite style of spoken word.
Definitely.
My favorite.
And the imagery's so strong through the whole thing. Like he uses very easy but good things like the shotgun pump and the piston. That's a nice little hit. Yeah. And it's so easy and clear, but like still strong. Like still, you know what I'm saying?
So
and he's what, 16 years old?
No. He old.
He was just saying like he was 16.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So,
but he looks young though.
As we do in Pen Clique.
Yeah, he's coming up right now. Gee, we see you. Bless you.
We always score each piece that we review out of 10, like I would be at a poetry slam.
With decimal points,
Mr. Bess
and your
Kepp,
opinions.
the God, how would you rate G Yamazawa?
As a poet, as an educator, dog, as everything, as a mighty Bess Kepp. On mic, Bess. Get tight on mic.
I give him an 8.9.
8.9, okay.
8.9. All right, I feel that.
So like 8.9. So not in the nines.
No, not in the nines, because I feel like as a scorer, I need someone that blew me away, but that didn't like just blow me away. It was a dope poem. It had everything in it. It had wordplay, it had storytelling, had imagery,
But that's not your third round slam piece poem right there.
When you come slam is a whole different animal to me.
Yeah,
you know?
word.
So but I wouldn't look at that as a slam poem.
No,
you know,
I think it might have been at some kind of conference or something.
Yeah, so yeah, but I think 8.9.
8.9.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. So if I was to score it, so here's the thing. This was done in 2014.
Okay.
Right. So that was 3 years ago. As we've seen in the past 3 years, we've seen slam poetry go more towards like the punchline-y, like these really sharp one-liners. But then also like we were saying, how it goes more about griping to really tear jerk people.
Feels. Boom,
very
boom, boom.
abrasive emotionally.
Yeah.
And his like healing poems like that, where it comes from a moment of a perspective of understanding and healing, like that's rare, unfortunately, in slam. But understandably so, because in slam, like it's a different animal.
You get those hits. Yeah.
With all that said, because of how different it is, off of that, it's like, yo, I'd give that. No, I'm giving that a 10.
A 10.
A 10.
I'm giving that a 10.
All right.
Yeah, because
I respect that.
It's wordplay as fuck, which is what I love, and then also how it's different compared to the current era of slam. But if that's not a round 3, if it was a round 1, that makes sense. If it was round 3, maybe that would have been like upper 8s or low 9s.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a dope.
You know what?
No.
Yeah.
I take that back. Third round, 9.5. But
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
My only thing is with a lot of a lot of slam poetry and the youth poetry right now is like they all come almost from the even though it was a unique poem.
Yeah.
I mean the cadence and the flow is always the same to me.
Right.
And I'm looking for someone that can just come in there and just like give me some different,
his flow though.
Yeah.
G's flow.
Yeah, but it was still
dope.
like that.
The inflections and the dips.
I mean, it was that, when I look at a poem now, I mean, also too, you gotta realize now I hosted a venue for 19
Best seen it all.
years.
Best seen it all.
So yeah, so I see so many poets every single week. So I'm probably I'll probably look at it with a different eye a little bit because I see so many poets. I've always been into like wordplay. That's why even when I rate an MC, I always rate them on their performance. On their stage performance. Okay. Anyone can go in the studio and record, but I mean, how's your stage performance? Yeah, how do you engage the crowd? And change some stuff up. Be an artist. So and even with my poems, like when I try to feature certain spots, I try to change it up a little bit and I'll throw some poems together, take some stuff off. Just try to change it up.
It's definitely like something that upcoming poets need to definitely cultivate because. It's like when you're creating character in a video game. You can't just dump all your creative points in writing.
Yeah,
you also have to have stage presence and performance and aggression and like emotional literacy and all that.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
So, Mr. Daniel.
I'm right there with y'all. If this was like a round 1 piece, I'm probably gonna give it that 10 to push it.
Let's go.
Yeah, like this round 1, I want to see something more. If this is a round 2 or 3 piece, I'm assuming I've already heard this. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the round 1 piece, and I'm gonna be a little upset. If this was like a third round, I'm giving you an 8, dog. Like an 8. Like really, bro? Like that wasn't the one, and like this isn't what I want to hear.
Yeah, because you really want that like high peak.
Yeah. Or that like message, like super message, like I'm on this thing. Because this was cool, but it was a little like wavy in here and there, and like the imagery really was what carried it for me.
It's a soothing listen.
Yeah.
But in slam, you're not looking for soothing.
And 8.9, I would give it the third round too as well. So
8.9
for me. That would be the third round. So that's what I was thinking about when I said that. Sure. But
and like the grenade imagery, as strong as it was and as much as I liked it, like it was kind of just like bookends.
Okay.
There was not a lot more going on.
Didn't
cohesively. There was a lot of good wordplay and a lot of good imagery and like a lot of good things that happening, but it wasn't all like one linear thing as much as I would have liked it to.
Or completely
for sake of story, and I understand that. The story's strong. It gets us through the story.
It wasn't a completely threaded metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're going from like this one point in the story, and the story's linear, but the work doesn't seem to tie into it. So yeah, I'm gonna say an 8.5. Like,
all right, so that was the first piece of the 2-piece combo.
Hey,
and then second piece of the 2-piece combo is where we pull up hashtag poetry on Instagram and find the first poem that comes up in the timeline. And today's hashtag...
And do the same thing one more time.
Yeah. First hashtag poetry piece comes from account CJ Peterson.
Okay. You see it somewhere around here.
And it's a picture of, I guess he had the chapbook. So he's like lightweight flexing. Like, yeah, you know, I got that
Okay,
chapbook.
so it's a picture of a poem, printed poem.
Yeah.
I appreciate that look.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
And the poem is The G Train. That night you drank too much, waiting for the G train that always ran late, much like my heart until you came into my life.
So
I'm not feeling the line breaks, man. Like the way he broke the lines, it's like that. It doesn't really add meaning to the next.
But if you got like, you know what I'm saying, Guru's had the best, like that voice, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear that voice do that. I want to hear like that sultry, like poetry voice do that.
Let's say
let's do it. Let's hear it.
Let's take out all the line breaks.
Yeah, and just read it.
Read it like succinctly.
I thought you were going to get all sexy with us.
No.
All right.
I say so.
Excuse me.
That night you drank too much, waiting for the G train that always ran late, much like my heart, until you came into my life.
And my problem is I'm trying to find like what he's talking about. Like,
you know what?
My heart ran late.
I think the poem is dope because I think when the first time I heard it, I knew he was writing to someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, if that was someone on that other end, how would that person feel when they heard that piece? And that's how I looked at it from there. And then I feel like they would love it.
What it is that this reads well, but out loud, this is not working. This is not meant to be read out loud, unfortunately.
Whispered into a voicemail, maybe.
It's like, hey, baby, that night you drank too much. Like, well, first of all, so let's break that down. That night you drank too much. It's like, so first of all, you're calling somebody out for drinking too much. It's like, oh, why are you really gonna put me out like that on a poem that you're gonna put out on Instagram?
Yeah, I can see that.
And then
savage.
it's like, yo, why don't you just let that dissipate on IG stories? Like 24 hours later, let's not save it to memories.
I'm gonna put this poem in my chapbook, and then I'm gonna take a picture of it, and I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. You better stop getting drunk in my mama's house, god damn it.
But this reads well.
But at the same time, the beauty of that is like he's not calling no one out. He's not putting nobody's name in it. So if I'm a person receiving that poem, if that came from a woman, and I'm receiving that poem, I'd be like, all right, okay, all right.
I've never received a poem from a woman. I wasn't like, fuck, this is awesome.
So,
but but I hear what you're saying.
Out of 10, sir.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
CJ Peterson.
Am I the only one thinking of Night Train right now too? Right? Because the train and the drinking, instantly I was thinking of like Night Train. That you know about Night Train? Y'all know about Night Train.
Right. Out of 10.
It'll probably be like a maybe a 8.7, 8.8.
Wow.
Okay, that's high.
So 0.1 less than G's piece?
Damn.
Yo,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, cause I'm looking at it just from just reading it.
Literary, like as a literary piece. Yeah. It's solid.
Yes, it's a solid piece. Yeah.
But I'm saying it's solid, not super dope. You know?
Yeah.
It's not super duper duper dope. So as a solid piece, I'd give it. So if 5 is like base,
okay.
If 5 is base, I'd say 6.7.
Wow. So 5 is base, being 5 is average, or 5 is like
5 is passable. Like
a C. 5 is a C.
I'm not mad that I read it.
Yeah.
Because like when you read it on text, when you read it on text, like the line breaks are cool, but I feel like the setup is there, but then like the punchline is like okay, it lands, but it's not a hard hit.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So if we're gonna go for these short pieces, then like every word has to count.
Yeah,
and, like,
I know what you're saying.
You're
You're right. I agree with you on that. Every word has to count.
All right, Mr. Daniel.
I like it. It's a good piece. I like it because I want to see it, you know what I'm saying? And I want to read it and I want to figure it out. And that's not something that always hits me. And that's certainly not something I would expect from the hashtag poetry poll. You know what I'm saying? Like the G shit we just watched, of course I'm going to think about that. But like this isn't much. And I really like what he did. I feel like the formatting may just be an attempt at formatting. And a missed attempt, because I'm going through that struggle too so often, like where it's like, all right, the poem tells a story and my device is there and this is there and this is is there and this is there, and then you got to format it correctly. And does the formatting lend to the poem, right? Or are you just formatting because you think you're supposed to break up your sentence?
That makes sense.
And I would have liked this more if it just read. You know what I'm saying? The device is strong enough, the imagery, like the what's going on.
A 3-line poem.
Yeah.
Yo, I think it might have been.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what it is ultimately. And because you need to fill page or things like that, that's what's happening here more than like this formatting is intentional and I'm making these breaks.
Daniel, he's breaking it
Because
down. Let's
Did
get
you
it.
get your score yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But
He's like, yo, yeah, so what's up?
so like I said, yeah, I appreciate it because it makes me want more. I think that once I see it and I see the formatting, I'm like, oh, that's not satisfied. That's not satiated. There is no reason for it that I could clearly see. So that hurts it a lot. I think you were a little rough on that 6-7. But not too far. I'm gonna give it like a 7.
A 7.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Give it the God number.
Yeah, blessed God's like, and not that 7.7 God, just that 7, because like I appreciate it, but again, the piece would have been better if you just would have trusted the piece and not. Because I have the same concern, that same insecurity. Like, is this formatted enough? And it's like sometimes it doesn't have to be.
You really pointed that out because once you said that, it's like, oh, I might have scored it higher had it been like in a different break.
Yeah, word.
Actually, the way you read it the second time or the third time, the last time, I like the way it sounded when you read it.
When it's read like as a cohesive sentence.
Yes.
And it's one hit. That's really what it is. It's not this and then this and then this and then this, because by the time you're there, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why don't you just say that?
Yeah.
But you got to give him some points just for being vulnerable, just for showing his vulnerability.
No, and it's lit. It is a really good poem.
So, as far as like just saying, my heart, that's how my heart feels. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a line a woman would. I mean, whether it's game or not, that's a cool little line.
For sure.
Okay.
You used to write poems for girls you liked back in the day?
I write poems
Recently married,
I write poems
Bess.
for my wife.
Yeah, that's
I
how we
still
do it.
man. And sometimes it's corny, but when she knows it's for her,
They like when it's corny.
They love it. They love it. And I feel like the woman who's on the receiving end of that poem would probably give it a 10.
Well,
But I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I'd
give
hope
it a
so.
10, but I give it an 8. 8 point. What I say? 8.7.
Yeah.
8.8. Yeah. So
No, I feel you. Sentiment real.
Yeah,
Sentiment real.
yeah.
That's why you hear Bess. You got a big old heart.
Hell yeah.
you know.
Let's go. Let's
Alright.
go. Yeah, that's
So,
it.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
That's a 2-piece
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah.
Off the 2-piece. Moving on to the last part of the show. We almost done. We're home stretching it with the
Yeah.
God, Bess Kepp.
You got 5
Thanks
Founder.
for having me, fellas.
Yeah.
You got 5 for your eyes. 5 for your eyes, where we give the poet a 5-word prompt ahead of time and they create a piece off of those 5 words. But they must use those 5 words. We're not sure what we're going to do for the people that didn't use all 5 words.
Yeah, we'll
because
find
it
out.
has happened.
You had poets that didn't use all 5
Yeah.
words?
But, not in names.
It was early in development.
Yeah, it was
we
early.
were still
It was early.
figuring it out. It was partially
Yeah.
our fault,
Okay.
Maybe we'll like take the remainder 5 words and then we'll make like another 5-word prompt out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do something. You'll see those words again.
So what are Mr. Bess Kepp's 5 words?
So I had to make this, and Bess, a poetry mentor. We're on the Dim Lights team now. I've came up through Bess Kepp essentially. So I have
we
to
love
make.
having you, by the way, man.
Bless, I
thanks
appreciate
thanks
you.
for adding to our show and to what we do every single month. So
I appreciate you. Yeah,
that.
come check it out. First Thursday of every month. Pomona, California, strong at the DA Performing Arts Center. So I have to make Bess a list, and I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna hit Bess with this list? And this is all based on music, low key.
Okay.
The whole thing's based on music,
All
in
right,
one
let's
way
get
or the
it.
other.
All right, let's
So we got trap, crook, burst, energy, and attitude. All different things. Some from like that punk rock till. We see you too. That PMA. But yeah, that's why I gave Bess. Trap, crook, burst, energy, attitude. All he had to do was write a poem and use every single word, which he did, because that's how you do.
Any
That's how
format,
we
any
do it,
style.
baby.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Mr.
So
Bess
here we
Kepp.
go. Bess
get
Kepp with it.
Some say trap music is whack music. It's still black music. 30 years ago, NWA was that music. Now it's just music. All coasts do it.
Hey.
They knew it when they told them don't do it. Negroes with altitude, Q still a G. Dre saved 70 million to USC. Right on, fight on. We got an energy burst. Before NWA, it was taboo to curse. What's worse? Dishonesty to give a certain look. Well, then you're stealing from your audience, so that makes you a crook.
Hey. The God. Doubling upwards in there.
Let's get
like,
it.
I'm going to use them right now. Energy burst. Like, oh, I got you right
and
now.
how it just landed. It's like, yo,
Yeah,
Just
doing
take that,
it.
Take that.
Yeah. Bless, Bess Kepp. I
thank you,
appreciate
man.
you.
Hey,
AMDL founder, Mike and Dim Lights founder.
That's right, co-founder. With,
Yeah,
with
JB.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We always, I don't want to forget you, JB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you got going on in your life? What can you tell us? Like, we got anything to plug? What's good?
Yeah,
Man,
where can they
know
hear
what?
you, Bess?
We just have a Dim Lights, every first Thursday of the month.
Yeah.
At the DA. We have a lot of good open mics coming up in the IE. You got to check for them. We got open mics everywhere else.
Hey, you got an album, though? With
As far as that, that's the only
Amazon?
thing. Just promoting open mics. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I don't have anything coming out right now. I'm just writing, just to write, you know. So
go peep it though. You'll find
feels
them
good just
here
to
and
do
there.
that. I mean, it feels good just to write,
No,
I
I
feel
feel
like
you.
in a way, my writing is leaning to it's leaning a certain way. So I might take that. And
So stay
create a
tuned,
book out of it
essentially,
or
yeah.
something like that. So, but
Where can the people
just
get
love
at you?
writing. Dim Lights is where I'm at. Other than that, I'm at my kids' practices and games.
Hey,
No,
let's
no,
go.
yeah,
Let's
okay.
go. Let's
So-
go.
so-
He's talking about
Let's go,
IRL, bro.
Let's
But
go.
yo,
Let's
so
go.
online,
I
you
just
on,
said, okay.
are you on Facebook? You on social?
My bad, I'm tripping.
Good.
Facebook, Cory, Cofer, or Bess Kepp. Bess Kepp on Instagram, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, getting it.
I got a Twitter page I never check, but
Yo, shout out to my
Right.
man who's like
Yeah.
really about the people, talking about like, oh yeah, so you could holler at me like I
Come
got
out.
kids.
Come see me.
Come watch my kids.
where
It's
I'm
like,
at,
yeah.
so
For sure. Love
Let's
it.
go.
hey, come say what's up, whatever.
Yeah, and come out. Mike and Dim Lights the first Thursday of every month in beautiful Pomona, California at the DA Performing Arts Center, 8 p.m. It's lit, $5. Come share your heart. Come see Bess Kepp. You still there every week?
Still there, man.
Yeah, still
just
doing the
chilling,
poem.
kicking it.
Yeah, still kick a poem or two.
Oh yeah, and just enjoying the poetry. That's the
Yeah.
thing about not having to host. I get to sit and enjoy it. So.
Yeah, and JB still there
Right.
doing it, getting those vibes all the
Yeah.
time. So yeah, come out, him at everything. Bess Kepp. Kuya,
Yes, sir.
Hey, this was dope, man.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate you.
Appreciate
Where they hit us at?
They can hit us up at PenClique, PenClique, all platforms. Twitter, it's at the PenClique, because some South African TV station that went
So
out
many
of
people.
that went out of business like years
So
ago
many people.
holds on to the username. Just let it go, bro. Just let it go. It's done. You know, like
Give them too much
sure.
credit too. Stop mentioning it.
you
Don't
kids on
go
the
away.
block, yo, the PenClique, we out here. But yo, at the PenClique on Twitter, PenClique at Instagram, on Facebook. We got SoundCloud, we got all of that. So yeah, get at us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, peep me everywhere at the Chubby Fat. DanielJHees.wordpress.com, DanielJHees.bandcamp.com. I just released a chapbook, so we're releasing that incrementally through the WordPress as well. So DanielJHees.wordpress.com, go peep that. Kuya, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Hey,
Bess
And
Kepp.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless
Thank you kindly.
for
Hey, had a good
everything,
time,
Bess. We
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
you.
through.
We appreciate y'all at home. Please tell a friend, do all that. We love y'all.
Peace.
Y'all watch the PenClique on YouTube, so y'all know what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, ride, survive.
Thank y'all.
Love y'all.